Hey guys, it's me, Gabby. This is my first time doing this, um, but as many of you know, today is Good Friday, and I would just like to share and address a few things. But before I do so, I'd just like to say that, um, as you all may know, that this world has been and is in chaos, and many events have been is happening around us. Um, Again, today's Good Friday, and that may mean many different things for people. Um, but specifically to Christians like myself, we reflect on Christ's death on the cross and his sacrifice made for us. Um, uh, though he was willing, though he was put on the cross and died for us, he did so willingly. And I think that's something important to know and uh, to remember that it was his choice to do that. Um, anyway, um, as you all may know, many things have been going on around the world, and many innocent lives have been lost. The reason for this video is I like to call on people to continue praying for not only Canada, but for other nations as well who are just going through hell right now. I pray that whoever is watching this, that God may put a specific nation, a, put a desire in your heart to pray and to really intercede for um, a specific nation that is in conflict and in strife right now, um, whether that be Syria, Egypt, not only the nation in which you live, but um, and not as well as like your background. But I pray that it would be a nation that you have no relation to, you have no connection to, and I pray that this nation would be revealed to you through God's voice in your life. Um, I know sometimes it may feel like you're helpless, we are helpless, and that we don't have a voice. Specifically to youth, um, or even if, uh, or even to young adults like myself. Um, and I just want to say that we have a responsibility, not only, even if you're not a Christian, we have a responsibility to pray, to keep them in our thoughts and in our prayers, because as small and as minute you may even think a prayer may be, God listens to them. Not only, and not to just any kind of prayer, but he looks at your heart and the faith behind your prayer. And um, I like to share a simple story. This is not my story. Actually, after Good Friday, after coming back home um, from uh, church or service this morning, I was in the car and I was speaking to my mom, and she a few years back she had done she had went on a missions trip with the women's ministry to Ukraine in September of 2014, I believe. Um, anyway, she went to, a few orphanages. She went to a women's prison. Um, and on one of the Sundays, um, my mom and the other woman on her team uh, gave their testimonies. And my mom told me in the car today about one of the days of one of those days that she shared her in which she shared hers. And I thought she would what I thought I would what I thought my mom was going to say was that she shared, her story that, when she came to Canada, um, uh, having no family here, and she had a dream that God gave her a dream that she would not be living in Brazil for all her life, and that she saw herself on a plane, and there were many confirmations in her life, um, and in which she found herself here. But she shared a specific story with the Ukrainian people of within the church that she was in, and the story was that God had placed when she was in her youth, God had placed for some reason Ukraine in her heart, a desire, not only in her heart but in her youth group, to intercede and to pray for Ukraine, and that they would be delivered, and that they would be that they wouldn't be under Russian oppression. And as you know today, that it's okay. Don't quote me on this. This is what my mom told me, but there's an expression that Ukraine is under Russia's thumb, or something like that. But that's, I'm guessing, supposed to signify that they, or even today, that in that nation, I don't know my knowledge on them. I'm so sorry if I'm saying, if I have any facts wrong. But anyway, so her team, when she was a youth, they interceded and they prayed and they cried, and God really put a desire in their heart to intercede for Ukraine. And that was years before she went on this missions trip to Ukraine with the women's ministry. And as she started to share her story and share, about, her youth group, praying for them, that they wouldn't be under, oppression the under Russia. And yeah, that, they people they started crying and they were in tears, and they could not believe that God would put a desire in someone's heart who lives all the way in South America, who had nothing to do with Ukraine, no ties, no connections. And God simply told my mom that night, I need you to tell them that you love them. I need you to tell them that nothing is impossible for me, and that I haven't abandoned them. And my mom just couldn't believe, people were going to her in tears and saying, I can't believe God, how could God put a desire in you to care so much for me, who lives all on the other side of the world, on the planet, and just to see that in that years later, um, Ukraine is a country of their own and not under um, that oppression, not that regime, um, and they were just in awe. And so the reason for me in sharing this story is because I had no idea that I knew that my mom went to on this mission trip, but I had no idea that my mom, um, that years before she went on this trip, that she had done, that she was praying and that she interceded, with others for Ukraine. And I'm just praying that whoever's watching this video, that whatever country comes to your mind, even from the beginning of this video, that you would intercede and that you will pray for this country, whatever country that may be. Because you don't know who's praying for you. You don't know who's praying for Canada. You don't know what kind of people have been a part of the process and a part of God's plan. And I really believe that it's other people's prayers and other nations' prayers I really believe that it's by their prayers as well that Canada, that we are a free country, that we have been blessed, and that we have good relations with many countries. And I don't just believe that it's because of anything that Canada has done, anything that our own government or our own leaders out of their own power. I don't believe it's just by their works. I 100% believe that it's God's blessing over this country, and I pray that you wouldn't do it on your own. If you find someone, I pray that you find someone that that the God would put the same desire in someone else to pray for the nation that is in your heart, and that you can start this prayer journey with them. Because I truly believe that it's that nothing that something that miracles can happen when God's people choose to act and choose to live selflessly when they pray, when they intercede, further beyond their own wants or desires, further beyond your own selfish desires, further beyond just praying for a good, fulfilling life, but to truly see transformed lives and transformed nations, transformed countries, transformed people, not just Christians, just transformed lives in general, for people to come to know that Christ is a relationship, and to see that to serve Christ and to live for Him, it's that it not only brings blessing in your life, but it's a decision for someone to make, and not for someone to be forced down upon um, in making. And I truly believe that that starts with prayer. Um, and for God's church and for God's people to remember those who are struggling, even if you have nothing to do with them, um, even if it's your enemy, even if you hate them, even if you don't even know them, and you have absolutely nothing to do with them. I just pray that you listen to the voice, you listen to God's voice, and that you are motivated, and that God keeps you motivated to keep praying for them. And simply the purpose of this video. I know, I'm sorry, it kind of went on a rant and it's been 16 minutes already, but if you have had the patience to watch this video in its entirety, God bless you. And yeah, I hope you share it. And I hope this video really comes across someone who truly needed to hear this message, and I hope that you can also spread this message, and for more people to speak up about, not about prayer in general, and yeah, because we do have a responsibility. That's pretty much it. Anyway, thank you for watching this, and if you feel the need to share it with anyone that comes to mind, please do. Yeah. And happy Good Friday. God bless. Ciao.